Welcome to Story Planet, where every story is a journey of wonder. The Things We Left Unsaid is a gentle family story, quiet hearts, hidden truths, and the tender strength discovered when emotions softly find their voice. Get cozy, relax, and let the story gently unfold. Perfect for unwinding before the night or whenever you need a moment of calm. Shall we begin? The soft golden glow of early evening gently draped itself over the quaint lakeside town of Willow Cove, like a comforting blanket settling slowly, tenderly, over the shoulders of someone dear. As daylight faded, street lamps awoke gracefully along the winding roads, their soft lights reflecting calmly off the lake's still waters, shimmering in quiet reassurance. Nestled comfortably among towering maples and gentle birches stood Daniel's family home. An old house, lovingly maintained, filled with warmth, yet quietly holding untold emotions within its walls. Through the half-open kitchen window, the soothing aroma of freshly baked bread drifted into the garden, where a cluster of lavender bushes nodded peacefully in the evening breeze. Inside, Sarah moved gracefully around her cozy kitchen, her movements practiced and familiar. Her gentle eyes held quiet wisdom, though tonight they were touched with contemplation. The kitchen, usually a place of chatter and laughter, felt unusually calm tonight. As she set the table for dinner, her hands lingered over the delicate plates passed down from her mother. Memories surfaced softly, beautiful, subtle, and tinged with quiet nostalgia. From the hallway, the sound of slow, careful footsteps announced Daniel's presence before he appeared. Daniel, a thoughtful man in his early 50s, carried a certain quiet dignity. His gentle presence often calmed any room, yet lately his calmness felt like a shield, hiding something deeper beneath. Tonight, his eyes revealed a subtle weariness, a quiet longing for something simpler, perhaps more honest. "Everything all right, Sarah?" Daniel's voice was soft, tinged with sincere warmth. She smiled gently, nodding as she placed a warm loaf of bread on the table. "Yes, just thinking. Ella should be here soon." As if summoned by her mother's quiet words, Ella stepped through the front door moments later, greeting them warmly but softly. Ella, their adult daughter, had inherited her mother's gentle beauty and quiet strength. Yet tonight, behind her bright eyes lingered quiet hesitation. Something she wished to share, yet held close, unsure of how it might be received. "Smells wonderful," Ella spoke softly, her smile genuine but reserved. Sarah gently squeezed her daughter's hand. "It's good to see you, darling." Jamie, the youngest, entered last, his shy smile like a soft ray of sunshine peeking through clouds. At 17, Jamie held quiet maturity beyond his years, a thoughtful heart often obscured by the pressures of his world. Tonight, beneath his gentle demeanor, lingered unspoken anxieties, heavy yet carefully hidden. The family settled quietly around the table. Dinner began gently, the conversation comfortable, though careful, each member seemingly aware of boundaries unspoken yet clearly felt. Sarah observed them closely, sensing each withheld words that hovered gently at the edges of their conversations. As dishes passed around, Sarah softly encouraged, "Ella, any news from the gallery?" Ella hesitated, softly swirling her soup. "Actually, I've been thinking about something new." Her voice trailed off, eyes lowering shyly. Daniel looked up thoughtfully, sensing his daughter's hesitation. "New is good, Ella. Change can be refreshing," he said gently, almost reassuring himself as he spoke. Ella glanced gratefully at him, but silence softly settled once more, thick yet delicate. Jamie quietly observed, absorbing everything while giving away little. His thoughts swirled, wishing he could voice his own concerns, yet uncertain how to breach the quiet tension without disrupting the peaceful balance. After dinner, Sarah gently cleared the dishes, Ella quietly helping her in the kitchen. As mother and daughter stood side by side, washing and drying plates in a comforting rhythm, Sarah's heart softly nudged her. "Ella," she began tenderly, "I saw your paintings upstairs today." Ella's hands paused slightly, her heart fluttering in quiet apprehension. "And?" Sarah turned warmly, her eyes soft with maternal pride. "They're beautiful. Honest. Are you thinking of sharing them?" Ella released a quiet breath she'd unknowingly held, her eyes shimmering with relief and gratitude. "I've been considering it. I want to paint full-time, but I'm worried." Sarah gently placed a reassuring hand on her daughter's shoulder. "Sometimes our hearts speak quietly, Ella, but they know exactly where they want to go. Trust yours." Ella smiled softly, her heart lighter. "Thank you, Mom." Meanwhile, Daniel took his habitual evening stroll, the lakeside path comforting beneath his feet. The setting sun gently painted the sky in pastel hues, reflecting thoughtfully on the lake's surface. Lost in his thoughts, Daniel didn't notice his old friend Robert until they stood nearly face to face. "Daniel?" Robert greeted warmly, his kind eyes searching his friend's face gently. "Something on your mind?" Daniel paused, then quietly admitted, "I've been considering retirement, Robert, but it feels complicated." Robert nodded with quiet understanding. "Life often does, but some things only grow complicated because we haven't voiced them. Talk to Sarah, Daniel. Simplicity often starts with just a conversation." Daniel sighed gently, acknowledging the wisdom. "You're right, it's time I share it." Back at home, Jamie had quietly retreated to his room. His gentle heart felt heavy, thoughts tumbling quietly inside. Opening a leather-bound journal, Jamie's pen moved carefully, gently releasing what he struggled to voice aloud. "I wish they could see. Really see. Not just who I'm supposed to be, but who I am. Maybe soon I'll find a way to tell them." As darkness softly wrapped itself around Willow Cove, each member of Daniel's family quietly navigated their evening rituals, hearts gently intertwined yet words carefully withheld. Sarah, sipping tea on the porch, reflected quietly beneath the stars. Ella painted quietly upstairs, her brushes softly capturing dreams previously kept hidden. Daniel returned from his walk, his heart clearer, prepared to share gently the dreams he had carried too quietly for too long. And Jamie slept gently, his journal nearby, words quietly comforting him. The night's quiet held each of them gently, silently promising that tomorrow, perhaps, would be the perfect moment to softly speak those quiet truths they'd left unsaid. Morning gently dawned over Willow Cove, softly dissolving the night's shadows and blanketing Daniel's family home in tender sunlight. The sky was painted in delicate hues of pink and gold, the colors weaving gently together like the threads of a treasured family quilt. Birds quietly filled the silence with their mellow songs, waking the town gracefully to another peaceful day. Sarah stood at the kitchen window, hands clasped gently around her steaming mug of tea. Her gaze traveled thoughtfully over the garden, where morning dew rested softly upon the lavender bushes, sparkling subtly under the morning sun. Her heart felt lighter today, buoyed by last night's gentle encouragement to Ella. The unspoken emotions lingered still, but today felt hopeful, as if the sunlight itself whispered that change could come gently, naturally. Ella emerged quietly from her room, descending the staircase gracefully. Sleep had found her gently, dreams softly guiding her toward clarity. Now she paused thoughtfully, observing her mother from afar, admiring her quiet strength and warmth, grateful for her comforting words. "Good morning," Ella said softly, joining Sarah in the kitchen. Her voice carried the warmth of gratitude from the night before. Sarah smiled warmly, sensing Ella's quiet shift toward confidence. "Good morning, darling. Sleep well?" Ella nodded gently, pouring herself a cup of tea. I think it helped, talking about things, about painting. I felt lighter. Good, Sarah replied softly, her eyes tender. Sharing your heart can be scary, but it's always brave. In the quiet upstairs, Daniel moved slowly, thoughtfully dressing for the day. His sleep had been restful, but beneath rested the gentle anxiety of anticipated conversation. Robert's advice echoed softly in his mind. As he straightened his collar, Daniel resolved quietly to find the right moment to speak openly to Sarah about his dreams of retirement, about living simply and honestly. Jamie awoke last, sunlight streaming softly across his journal. Sitting up slowly, he reached gently for the leather-bound book, running his fingers lightly over its textured surface. Last night's words lingered quietly on the pages, comforting, yet still unspoken, to those he loved most. Today, Jamie thought softly, would perhaps be the day he began to speak. Breakfast unfolded gently, the family quietly gathering around the familiar table. The comforting aroma of pancakes and fresh fruit filled the air, mingling with quiet laughter and softly exchanged words. Each felt more comfortable, more willing to share bits of their hearts, but gently, cautiously. Have you thought more about the gallery? Sarah asked Ella gently, sipping her tea. Ella hesitated briefly, then smiled softly. Yes, actually. I think I'll talk to them about hosting a small exhibition. It's time. Daniel's eyes softened proudly, warmly encouraging his daughter. We're behind you, Ella. Whatever happens. Jamie watched quietly, feeling warmth blossom within his chest at Ella's bravery. The quiet confidence in his sister inspired him to share something small, something meaningful. I've been thinking about trying out for the school play, Jamie said softly, surprising himself with the ease of his admission. It feels important somehow. Sarah reached gently across the table, warmly squeezing Jamie's hand. You'd be wonderful, Jamie. Whatever you choose, your heart will guide you right. Breakfast finished gently, filled with a newfound quiet optimism. As dishes were cleared, Daniel moved softly toward Sarah, gently touching her arm. Walk with me? Sarah smiled warmly, sensing the importance of this quiet request. Of course. They walked slowly along the lakeside, the morning breeze soft and refreshing, silence comfortably wrapped around them, until Daniel finally broke it gently, carefully. Sarah, I've been thinking about retirement, he began softly, his voice quietly vulnerable. I love my work, but lately I feel something else calling me, a simpler life, here with you, with our family. Sarah paused thoughtfully, watching him with quiet understanding. Her eyes held gentle compassion, encouraging him to continue. It feels complicated, Daniel admitted softly, his voice nearly a whisper. I worry about burdening you, or disappointing the kids. Sarah stepped closer, gently placing a comforting hand on his cheek. Daniel, you've always given us so much, your happiness matters just as much. Let's embrace whatever comes together. Relief filled Daniel's eyes, his heart lifting softly at her quiet acceptance. Thank you, Sarah. Back home, Ella had quietly ventured upstairs to her studio, gently preparing her paintings for the gallery. Each canvas felt precious, personal. Courage gently flowed through her fingers, painting strokes of hope onto fresh canvases. With each gentle brushstroke, Ella felt closer to the truth of who she was, becoming brave enough to share it openly. Jamie found himself thoughtfully seated beside the garden, journal open. Sunlight played gently across the page, softening his nerves. Slowly he began penning words meant not just for paper, but for those who needed to hear them most. Today, I spoke up. It was small, but it felt good. Tomorrow, maybe more. Maybe soon, they'll see the real me. As morning stretched gently into afternoon, Daniel and Sarah returned, quietly finding Ella and Jamie in comfortable silence. The day had quietly shifted something within them, softening barriers, gently opening paths toward honesty. That evening, the family gathered once more on the porch, the soft glow of twilight surrounding them. Conversations flowed gently, more openly than before. Ella shared her excitement for her paintings. Jamie cautiously described the school play. Daniel spoke softly, openly, about his desire for retirement and simpler living. Sarah quietly revealed her own desire to write, to gently share her thoughts with others. In the tender warmth of twilight, Daniel's family quietly discovered the beauty hidden within vulnerability, the strength in shared honesty. The quiet around them felt comforting, knowing now the echoes of their hearts weren't solitary. They were gently, lovingly heard. Night descended peacefully over Willow Cove once more, softly promising that even unspoken truths could gently find their way to light, guiding Daniel's family softly forward, heart by heart. The days following the gentle revelations at Daniel's family home flowed peacefully, each moment delicately stitched together by understanding and quiet courage. Willow Cove moved softly into autumn, leaves drifting gracefully from the maples and birches, blanketing the pathways in a mosaic of warm golds, reds, and browns. The air turned crisp, carrying with it a comforting scent of earth, hinting at quiet changes soon to come. Sarah began each day quietly now, seated at a cozy corner desk near the window overlooking the garden. Her fingers danced gently across the pages of her notebook, words softly blooming as she wrote down long-held thoughts, dreams, and stories she'd previously kept hidden. Each morning felt like an intimate conversation with herself, a gentle release of emotions onto paper. Writing, she discovered, was like opening a long-locked door, freeing, comforting, and deeply fulfilling. Ella immersed herself lovingly in her studio, carefully selecting and organizing paintings for the gallery. Each brushstroke held quiet significance, as she painted with renewed confidence. Her paintings became more vibrant, each canvas gently narrating her journey toward openness. As the gallery exhibition neared, her heart fluttered softly, not in fear, but in quiet anticipation. Daniel spent his days thoughtfully preparing for retirement. His conversations with Sarah had lifted the quiet weight he'd carried for months, leaving him lighter and more at ease. He gently made plans for simple days ahead, perhaps gardening, reading, or walks by the lake. Daniel began to realize that embracing simplicity wasn't merely about stepping away from work. It was about stepping into the honest rhythm of his heart. Jamie had found gentle courage in his recent openness, softly allowing himself small moments of vulnerability. Rehearsals for the school play had begun, and Jamie quietly discovered joy in performance, his shyness gently transforming into quiet confidence. Each evening, he penned his progress into his journal, carefully noting the subtle ways his heart felt freer. One gentle afternoon, Sarah invited Ella to sit beside her in the garden, the afternoon sun casting soft, golden warmth around them. Sarah opened her notebook quietly, turning the pages carefully, her hands steady despite the quiet nervousness within. "I've started writing," Sarah admitted softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's new, but it feels right." Ella smiled tenderly, her eyes gentle and proud. "That's wonderful, Mom. I'd love to read something." Sarah nodded shyly, handing her daughter a page filled with gentle words and heartfelt stories. Ella's eyes softened as she read, warmth filling her heart at her mother's quiet talent and courage. "This is beautiful," Ella whispered gently, her voice sincere. "You have a gift, Mom. Keep writing." Sarah's eyes filled softly with gratitude. "I never realized how much I needed this, Ella. Thank you for encouraging me." Meanwhile, Daniel stood quietly at the edge of the garden, overhearing their gentle exchange. His heart swelled warmly at their shared moment, feeling deeply thankful for the gentle honesty now guiding their family. That evening, Jamie returned home quietly from rehearsal, cheeks flushed gently with excitement. Around the dinner table, he found himself speaking comfortably, sharing small, heartfelt stories from the day. Ella listened warmly, encouraging his quiet bravery, while Daniel and Sarah watched thoughtfully, seeing clearly the quiet shift in their youngest. "You sound happy," Daniel observed softly, gently smiling. Jamie nodded shyly but confidently. "I am. It's like finding something I never knew I missed." Dinner flowed comfortably, conversation blending easily with shared laughter and gentle encouragement. As the meal ended, Daniel softly tapped his glass, his eyes warm and sincere. "I just want you all to know how grateful I am," Daniel began gently, voice rich with quiet emotion. "These past days sharing our dreams and our hearts, it's been incredibly meaningful. I'm proud of us." Sarah reached gently for Daniel's hand, her eyes tender and loving. "We've all found courage together, Daniel. It's brought us closer." Ella smiled softly, her voice quiet but firm. "It's true. Sometimes the quietest truths speak loudest." Jamie nodded gently, softly adding, "And being heard matters more than I realized." That night, the family gathered quietly around a gentle fire on their porch, wrapped comfortably in soft blankets against the cool autumn air. Stars glittered serenely above, silently witnessing their peaceful unity. Ella spoke first, softly sharing her excitement about the gallery exhibit scheduled soon. Sarah offered gentle encouragement, promising to support her wholeheartedly. Daniel discussed quietly his upcoming final days at work, finding quiet comfort in his family's gentle reassurance. Jamie spoke softly of his growing confidence in rehearsals, gratefully acknowledging the quiet encouragement he'd received from his family. Each gentle revelation deepened the quiet bonds holding Daniel's family together, their hearts softly intertwined through honest communication and understanding. As the night deepened softly around them, Daniel's family sat quietly together, hearts gently open beneath the comforting stars. Each of them felt deeply seen, heard, and lovingly understood, aware of the profound truth they'd softly discovered. That gentle honesty, whispered kindly between hearts, carried a quiet power capable of healing, transforming, and warmly strengthening their bonds, gently guiding them toward a future built quietly, lovingly, and entirely upon truth. Winter softly arrived in Willow Cove, wrapping the quiet lakeside town gently in a blanket of serene white snow. The landscape transformed subtly, as if nature itself quietly whispered encouragement for rest and reflection. Daniel's family home stood peacefully amid the snow-covered trees, lights glowing warmly from the windows, casting a comforting glow upon the quiet snowfall. Sarah spent peaceful mornings at her writing desk, her notebook pages now filling steadily with gentle stories and heartfelt poems. Writing had become a joyful, quiet companion, a cherished part of her days. She shared her writings softly with Ella, finding quiet strength in their shared appreciation and gentle encouragement. Ella's art exhibition at the gallery had been a gentle success, attended warmly by family, friends, and townspeople alike. The event left Ella quietly confident, deeply satisfied knowing she'd embraced her true passion, openly and bravely. Each painting that found a new home carried with it a quiet promise of dreams fulfilled and courage softly rewarded. Daniel had gracefully stepped into retirement, each day gently reminding him of the simple beauty he had quietly longed for. His days filled comfortably with activities he cherished, reading beside a cozy fire, nurturing the garden now sleeping gently beneath the snow, and taking thoughtful walks beside the frozen lake, enjoying moments of solitude and gentle reflection. Jamie's performance in the school play, had quietly captivated his audience, his gentle confidence blooming beautifully on stage, his journal filled lovingly with reflections of newfound courage, friendships warmly forged, and an inner peace softly growing within him. Jamie had found a gentle voice, clear and confident, as he stepped into his own quiet strength. One peaceful evening, as the sky gently darkened to twilight, Daniel's family gathered comfortably once more around their cherished fireplace. Logs crackled softly, casting gentle warmth and flickering light onto their peaceful faces. Outside, snow fell quietly, silently blanketing their world in gentle serenity. Daniel spoke first, his voice soft yet steady, eyes shining warmly. "I think we've all discovered something special lately. How much strength lies in quietly speaking our truths." Sarah smiled warmly, nodding gently. "And how freeing it is to be heard and understood." Ella's eyes shimmered softly in agreement. "It's like a weight lifting, realizing we don't have to carry everything quietly alone." Jamie spoke quietly but clearly. "And that sharing doesn't make us weaker, it makes us stronger." The family sat thoughtfully, savoring the gentle wisdom they'd uncovered together. Daniel rose slowly, stepping softly to a nearby shelf, retrieving a small wooden box. Returning quietly to his family, he placed it gently on the table, opening it with care. Inside were letters, aged softly by time, written lovingly in familiar handwriting. Sarah's eyes widened gently, recognizing letters written long ago, quietly tucked away but never forgotten. "These are letters your mother wrote to us, Sarah," Daniel explained tenderly. "I kept them, thinking they might comfort us someday. I think now is the right time." Sarah gently lifted one letter, her fingers brushing tenderly against the paper. Her voice was soft, warm with emotion as she read aloud words written long ago, words filled with quiet love, gentle advice, and heartfelt hopes. "Never be afraid to share what's inside your heart," Sarah read softly, her voice warm with gentle emotion. "Love grows stronger when we speak our truths openly, honestly, and gently." The family listened quietly, each heart touched deeply by words written years before, yet resonating warmly, clearly today. Ella spoke softly, her voice gentle but filled with gratitude. She was right. The best things we've discovered together came from quietly opening our hearts. Jamie nodded thoughtfully, his eyes gently shining, and trusting each other enough to listen. The family sat quietly for a moment, absorbing the tender beauty of the words, feeling deeply grateful for the wisdom they carried. Daniel closed the box gently, his voice soft yet deeply sincere. "I want you all to know how deeply proud I am of us," Daniel said warmly, his eyes quietly shimmering. "We've learned to share openly, to trust gently, and to listen kindly. I believe we've truly become stronger together." Sarah reached warmly for Daniel's hand, her eyes tender and sincere. "And we'll carry these lessons forever, passing them on gently, sharing them quietly." Ella smiled softly, her eyes filled with quiet assurance. "It feels like a beautiful beginning, not just an ending." Jamie spoke gently, his voice quietly confident. "And we'll keep growing together." As the evening deepened softly around them, Daniel's family remained peacefully beside the comforting warmth of their fire. Snow continued falling gently outside, blanketing their world quietly in peaceful silence. They each carried gently in their hearts the quiet truth they'd learned together. That true strength lies not in silent endurance, but in the gentle bravery of speaking openly, listening kindly, and embracing wholeheartedly the quiet power of truth. With hearts gently united and souls peacefully connected, Daniel's family softly understood they'd discovered something deeply valuable, a quiet, everlasting peace found simply in the things they'd finally said. Under a sky softly illuminated by winter stars, their home filled gently with love, warmth, and peaceful serenity. quietly assuring them that no matter how softly truths are spoken, their echoes linger warmly, lovingly, forever. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this gentle journey, consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with your loved ones. Perhaps they have quiet truths waiting to be softly spoken too. For daily stories of calm, subscribe if you haven't already. Good night and sweet dreams from Story Planet.